rotate. So we'll see if that's what they end up doing. Is we're jumping right into this game 2 for you guys against 2v2 or 2+2 versus Rip, and 2+2 has a 1-0 lead right now.
First ban is going to be for Rip.
And this, I would expect on this one, a Ragnaros ban again.
Yep, and Ragnaros first ban into a Sylvanas second ban. That is what I'm calling.
Dahaka is really strong on this map too. So we could see a Dahaka taken. Sylvanas, like you said, is really strong, but they didn't take Sylvanas on the last map. But that's a map where you don't need to win the game. It helps, but you definitely don't need to. It's not.
Sylvanas is definitely a win more hero on that map, not a win hero. And a Tassadar first ban. Was not expecting that.
This is interesting. You see a Tassadar Zarya first show. So I don't know if they're going to ban Zarya. I know they took Rip, or 2+2 took Zarya last time. Maybe they're afraid of not getting her again. Zarya is a strong hero, and she has the ability to really, especially in this shrines where you can just get beat on by the minions, you can build up that shield really quick and do some damage. But Ragnaros is a really powerful hero too on this map. So that's something they have to be careful of. If they ban Zarya, they might give up the Rag.
Yeah, Zarya is definitely very powerful for just having presence on the shrines, but you know, Ragnaros is really good in the defensive, or if you have 35 skulls and you get pushed out and you have a Ragnaros, he takes the shrine and just drops the stuff and gets the last 5 things, even if they completely push you off of it. He just has so many utilities on this map that very quick first pick.
Yeah, and we see an instant lock. It was, almost instant Ragnaros. No, I didn't think, I knew that was probably going to happen, and that's exactly what most teams would do in that case is Ragnaros. This does leave a lot of options open, though, for 2+2. You could see EGC Malf right to they like their Malf. They love their Malf. He played really well last game, and I think it's a solid pick on this map where everybody's contesting those shrines. ETC, too, you can get a lot of interrupts off on Ragnaros if he's trying to jump on that keep, so you can interrupt him from turning into that Molten Core.
Yep, ETC, Malfurion, both very solid pickups, just playing for the comfort picks here.
Yeah, and I mean, it gives you the option to go global with ETC, or it forces the other team to take some stuns to make sure you don't go Mosh. So, solid pickup, nothing surprises.
Does leave a lot of crazy things open to Rip the Dream, so got to see what they're going to be coming up with here.
Yeah, and you could go, like, the Haka is still a really strong pick on this map, just the ability to push and rotate. You still have the ability to go Sylvanas, although Sylvanas and Rag is a little redundant, and you kind of get this doubling up on that, but we'll see what they end up doing.
Gul'dan still available. He's really powerful for...
that good call.
Gul'dan, Tyrael. Gul'dan really good at just staying outside of those shrines and picking off the skulls.
Yeah. I completely agree. Gul'dan is really good, and Malf does have a hard time healing Gul'dan's damage because Malf, without Tranquility, does not get the heals around everybody. So I think he's a solid pickup, and Tyrael counteracts the Malf ETC with the ability to put down that Sank before silence, before slide-throughs happen. So Tyrael can kind of be a counteraction to ETC, and especially if they expect them to go maybe another Alarak or another kind of divey hero that they want to avoid.
Tyrael, a very good pick. As long as you have someone who can play him, you have to get those Sanks right, or they are completely wasted. But if you can hit the Sanks, they can turn entire team fights.
Yeah, I completely agree. Sank is an amazing thing, and I believe, don't quote me on this, Gul'dan can tap inside the Sank without fear of dying. I mean, he can. I mean, you can't. Yeah, you can. You don't have to. He can tap inside the Sank without fear of dying because no damage can be put on him during that time. So that's
you also can't kill yourself from tapping, but
yeah,
he can easily heal himself back up before. It's basically a free full mana pool for Gul'dan to just keep going. Yeah. We do see a Lucio ban into a Vala ban. Makes sense. Lucio is fantastic on this map for the same reason Dahaka is. He gives his entire team very fast rotations. He has a lot of healing output. Even if it's not the most focused healing output, you can back out while the shrine's happening, and you have enough time while these shrines are up for him to heal the team up and get back in there.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the Vala ban is just Vala is just such a great pick on this map and we saw Vala play from 2+2 last game and it was solid. So I would expect, maybe partial respect, but Vala's good on this map. Like you can go W build and really knock the minions down while dealing a lot of damage. So
Vala's
just taking away another range.
Vala's definitely one of the best overall assassins right now. Even if she didn't go the W build because they had enough clear, that she could go Q build and just poke that Gul'dan down. So definitely something to get rid of.
Sonya. I love Sonya with the changes on this map. She is very, very good. And right now, the only way they have to interrupt Sonya and her Whirlwind is the Fear. Or Sulfurous Smash if you're really clutched on it and you can land it. So Sonya is a really solid pickup for them here.
Sonya, I agree. I love the pickup of Sonya. However, them picking Sonya basically confirmed that Tyrael pick for Rip. Like that Sonya is exactly why they wanted the Tyrael.
Yeah. The Tyrael putting down a Sank in the middle of Sonya's Whirlwind stops all of her damage and they can blow her up at that amount of time. You are completely correct. But Sonya will be able to put pressure on Gul'dan. She'll be able to get to that back line and put pressure on Gul'dan and be able to cause disruption and make his damage a lot lower. And then you also have a Falstad, which with Falstad and ETC is just such a great combo. A lot of people have been going Hinterlands Blast lately, but I would expect a Gust out of this.
I was about to ask you, what do you think you would see here, Hinterlands Blast or Gust? Gust is going to be great for engages and stuff, but the Hinterlands Blast right into the shrines where all of the heroes are pretty stacked up, it might be really good.
I would not think you would go Hinterlands Blast just for the fear of that Hinterlands Blast Sank pop immediately. You do no damage. So I don't think he'll go Hinterlands Blast, but I think the Gust with ETC and Sonya, if she goes Leap, you can just get such great combos. You might see that happen.
So we do see an Arthas and a Rhaegar picked up by Rip the Dream. Rhaegar, obviously, just a very solid healer overall here, probably second best to Malfurion currently. He has the Ancestrals, which is really good for picking someone back up, especially after that Sank is dropped. See someone getting low, drop the Sank, drop the Ancestral, guaranteed survivability on a hero. However, the Arthas pick I was not expecting. Why do you think that happened?
So Arthas is picked on this map as a Pseudo Sylvanas with Sindragosa. So you can get some more utility out of Arthas, like a tank, versus having the Sylvanas. You can use Arthas to do the Sindragosa, disable the shrines, and you still get that AoE damage, and you still get a little bit of root and play in that. The only bad thing about Arthas, he doesn't have a stun or anything to interrupt this. Another person does interrupt Sonya, that will just be absorbing Sonya's damage. But this could be homage to the fact that they have a lot of melee and they wanted that sanctification. And a last pick, Nazeebo, what do you think about that?
I think Nazeebo is just a very powerful hero right now. He could easily be swapping between mid and bottom, getting a double soak if they're losing a lane. I think he is a very good pickup that complements their team well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Nazeebo, the best thing about Nazeebo in this case is that, like you said, he can double soak and stack his Voodoo Ritual up super quick. They're running 3 melee right now. 4 if you count Rhaegar. So if the Sank goes down, Nazeebo can put up a zombie wall around the Sank, and as soon as that Sank is over, the zombie wall is up and it starts beating on their faces and they can't get out. So they could see a little bit of that. And on blue side, we have McNulty on ETC, Axon on Nazeebo, Flyest Raven on Sonya. He was playing that All-Rack last game, so a kind of bruiser player it looks like. Majesto on Falstad, and Jelly Monster on Malfurion.
And on Rip the Dream, Reb side, we have Nims on Ragnaros, I almost said Rhaegar, Blades on Rhaegar, Rival on Gul'dan, Zab Fmau on Arthas, and Aether Fog on Tyrael.
And what you will see happen here is the same kind of soul strap people do. You'll use Nazeebo's zombie walls to soak the tower shots to get you an early tower kill. But it looks like Rip the Dream is kind of sniffing this out right now.
They're debating which way to rotate. They do end up coming bottom after seeing that ETC. They do manage to pick off the tower, and they're backing immediately.
Yeah, really good job, and that's totally expected. You see that cheese come out when you have a Nazeebo just because of his power. And with a Falstad who can just fly top, you're not going to miss any soak in the process.
Still see a 3v2 bottom. And then Sonya and Nazeebo look like they're going to start rotating up.
Yeah, and this is just to get the Nazeebo those voodoo stacks as quickly as possible and get him max, because at 20, voodoo stacks are all you want as Nazeebo, and you start trashing everybody.
See a 4-man rotation coming out from Rip the Dream. They are not looking to let Nazeebo have these stacks easily.
Yeah. And the issue we're going to see arise is Sonya can just whirlwind in the middle of all of them and regenerate an entire health pool, and there's not a single interrupt for the other team.
Not until level 10 Sulfur Smash. But Gul'dan is going to give them a much better wave clear here in the beginning of the game.
I completely agree with you. But Arthas is, he's slowly dropping lower top, but I'm not sure how he'll do with that. We'll have to keep an eye on that matchup.
Arthas goes for a root onto Falstad, gets Falstad down to about 20% health, but Falstad does make it out.
Yeah. And I think the key with another root on Falstad. Arthas doing some really good damage. Good on Arthas. He's putting the pressure on Falstad here.
Oh, we have Sonya diving deep bottom with an ETC slide onto Ragnaros. Ragnaros does get stunned, but he manages to get healed up. Sonya getting low. She's going to need to get out of there, but she may leave the Nazeebo to die. Oh.
Yeah. And that's the power of Ragnaros and his Q. His Q heals so much health when you're all stacked up on top of him trying to kill him. So really good job. And we do see the double lightning bond coming out of Rhaegar, so there's a lot of damage if you have melee stacking up on him.
We're going to have a fight over the shrine. Rip is 5-man here, and we have the engage.
A great zombie wall comes down, locking 3 in there. Sonya is going in. She is doing whirlwind on all 3, putting out that damage. ETC does a W, and they just kind of back out from it, but a good engage from 2+2, and they're kind of taking their ideas here.
Tyrael getting in deep, trying to get on that ETC, but he is going to get picked off with a really nice slide. He is looking to get a kill on ETC with the explosion, but doesn't quite get it.
Yeah, Sonya is in deep, but that whirlwind, there's no way to stop it, so she will just keep healing. She does drop, though, but Arthas pays for it, and we will see Ragnaros drop also.
A 2-for-1 from Sonya, a very nice trade in the end.
Yeah, ends up being a 3-for-1 overall. Really good job by 2+2 to take that. And Sonya, there's not a way to interrupt her. She's going to keep whirlwinding all day long. So they're going to have to figure out something to do about her.
And you see 2+2 at 38 skulls to the 19. They know that they have this. So they're actually splitting to get some soak before they finish off the lane.
Yeah, they're actually leaving it at 39, which is a common strategy you see to get to your soak. Maybe even take a camp to start it out early. Go back for full mana. The other team, they don't have, the other team's at 19, so they do have to be careful. But any moment, Nazeebo can just throw a Q in there and probably finish off that.
ETC is going into there to make sure that he can get it. They do end up taking it while they have all 3 people soaking all 3 lanes.
Yeah. And this gave Malf time to fully back and come back with full health and mana. So they'll be able to put a pretty powerful push, but they can't forget about what Ragnaros can do here, and that's something they'll have to be careful of.
It is an Arcane Punisher as the first Punisher. That is the most powerful one. And Ragnaros immediately jumps onto the fort.
Yeah, but we do see Sonya and ETC rotating in. Ragnaros drops rather quickly, and they're in a bad spot right now.
A good jump onto the Gul'dan from the Punisher. The follow-up slide doesn't quite hit, but Gul'dan was getting low.
Yeah, good recognition by ETC and Sonya to get in there and slide through, but Gul'dan was able to pull out just in time. So they had the idea, they were stationed up there. Tyrael did see them to kind of give them away, but a good try by 2+2.
The Punisher chasing out of that keep almost killed Nazeebo, actually, as he was the one taking the tower shots, and he was 1 shot away from dead.
Oh, yeah. And Gul'dan almost died from the Punisher jumping down. A lot of close calls, but good job by 2+2 to kind of, they've got this level advantage again, pushing this early game and punishing Rip the Dream from just kind of not being where they should be quick enough or engaging how they should be. They don't have that interrupt for Sonya, so it's going to continue to be a problem for them.
2+2 immediately rotating onto camps and looking to put pressure mid with Nazeebo zombie wall.
You see a good root down. Arthas is still winning top though, so we'll see if they do a rotation up to get a catch on Arthas, because Arthas is slowly winning top.
Nazeebo still just trying to get his stacks up, just soaking mid, soaking bottom. Sonya is off taking more camp. They have the level advantage. 2+2 has a level advantage, and they're looking just to keep it. They know that this is their game as long as they keep playing the way they're playing.
I completely agree. as long as they keep this experience lead and, you know, get to 10, because the shrines should spawn as they get 10 here very shortly. So if they close out this 10 level, they should be able to take this fight. The one thing they're lacking, since Arthas is top, they don't really have an engage. There's no one on their team that can, you know, engage. Tyrael can queue in, but the other team still is can just run away because Tyrael doesn't have an engage. He has a slow on his Q, and that's it.
Yeah. There really isn't much that Rip can do until they hit 10. They want that 10. They want that Sulfuras Smash, that Cindergosa. It's going to give them the engage they need, but they have to get there.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And we do see all the common things coming out. Mosh Pit, they don't have an interrupt, so Mosh Pit's fine. Gargantuan, Wrath, Mighty Gust, and Twilight Dream, like all fine talents. I would expect Wrath just because there's not a way to interrupt you. So if you can Wrath and E, you're never going to die.
So they are a full level ahead with the ultimate advantage, and we see Falstad is still bottom soaking, while Sonya is the only one doing the lane. We have 3 people putting pressure onto the top wall. They're looking to get that down, so when the Punisher comes, they don't have a wall to hide, or Rip doesn't have a wall to hide behind. They can get engages.
Yeah, and I completely agree with what Rip is doing here. Because they needed to get 10, they know they didn't have it. Try to take your advantage elsewhere. The only issue is you might lose some people top and a lot more top if you don't get up there quick enough to rotate. Arthas does get a little low and get engaged on, but they're pushing this bottom.
It looks like they're going to try to get this keep. They're giving up this whole shrine. Sonya not getting it quite as fast as I think she would like to. But, I mean, at the same time, 2+2 is getting this entire fort down to half health before they even get the Punisher.
I completely agree. The top fort will die too, though, for Rip. So, or top keep will die. So, we'll see if the rotation comes back, and they'll try to get a Ragnaros engage on it.
We now have a Mortar Punisher for 2+2 going straight to the keep. It is talent tier. Talents are equal, and so Rip has the engage here. Now we need to see if they're going to take advantage of it.
An early Ragnaros pick, but we'll see if they get this ability. He does have stun. He's not using his stun. They're waiting for the chance. There it is. Stun is out. Sonya is stunned. The Immortal is dying pretty quickly, but it's getting some damage out. Sulfuras Smash does come down to try to finish off Sonya. Sonya does get low, but the Infernal is dropping slowly.
Rag ignoring the Punisher, it looks like, going for the kills, but they do all turn around. Oh, that Sanctification was beautiful to get everyone out of the mosh pit.
Totally on point, and they are getting low. Good guts for a disengage. 2+2, take what you got and back away. Say no, say no. There you go. And they're running. They will try to pursue, but I think they'll be able to get out fine. Good gust and a good disengage from 2+2.
Nearly every ultimate used there, and no one dies. There was that mosh was really good. The Sanctification was really good to save out of the mosh, and that gust was a perfect disengage for 2+2.
Yeah, it's crazy synchronization of ults. The only thing I am surprised is Arthas went Army of the Dead, which it's a good ability for more survivability. But what ends up happening is Sonya can Whirlwind, and your Army of the Dead just gives her more healing. So I don't know if there's an idea that they just wanted to have him tankier or what, but it's something that could come back to bite them with Sonya just Whirlwinding in it. When she gets she gets Life Funnel at 13, so she'll be healing even more off those minions.
Well, with the way 2+2 is being fairly aggressive, and they're putting out a lot of damage, and all the Arthas Tyrael by themselves aren't 2 of the tankiest tanks in this game, so.
Yeah, I completely agree. And so Arthas does have more survivability with the Army of the Dead, but it's going to be something that might be risky because of Sonya's ability to Whirlwind in the middle of all of it.
Sonya's taking this left camp, and ETC sitting in the bush. He's waiting, but there is a 5-man rotation coming in. Nothing. They do manage to spot it and get out, so.
Yeah, and I think that was good on 2+2 to leave ETC in that bush. You know that Rip doesn't have any idea where all of you are at, so they have to back out just for fear of you all 5 being there to take them on. So good job.
2+2 does end up taking their Bruiser a little bit early. If they would have waited about 30 more seconds, they could have had that pushing top wall. There was a 5v5 contest over the shrine.
Yep. And I do think we're about to see one of the key fights in this game, purely because it's even talent tier. You have a shrine. You know, Rip the Dream is running out of chances. They need to take this shrine. I think we're going to see a solid team fight here and see what we have.
Tyrael and Arthas both being aggressive, looking for that pickoff on ETC, but he gets a nice slide out.
Yeah, the Howling Blast just missed him.
Falstad is now here. It is now a 5v5. ETC going in really deep. You got to slide an Aether Fog. Didn't do much. There's a root on Tyrael. Tyrael does go low, but he gets Ancestral. Oh, the silence. An August disengage. The Malfurion gets...
Malfurion is down, but they're going to pay for it. Mosh is out.
A two-person Mosh getting a double kill. And it looks like Arthas is going to get picked off your top.
Yeah. So they ended up getting the mouth, but they paid for it with their lives. Sonya's Whirlwind in the middle of all of them just slowly draining their health, and they just don't have a way to deal with it.
So I think a big problem that happened there was Tyrael ended up getting caught out by himself, and it resulted in him having to use both Sanctification and Ancestral just to get him out without getting nearly any value.
This is a good use of Molten Core. You save yourself from losing that, so you don't have the siege minions pushing. So I think it's fine use of Molten Core, even though the Infernal will be pushing soon on your bottom and your mid.
So the Punisher is going to be pushing mid, but they still have a fort there. So I agree that Molten Core is definitely a better usage to save that keep.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And we'll see what they end up doing here. They'll probably just live up this first one and try to pull over that second wall because they are down that 16 talent tier, which is a big deal at this point in the game.
16 talent tier, very powerful for the ETC and Nazeebo and the Sonya. So hopefully
Tyrael's about to pay with his life.
Yeah, Tyrael just got caught out right there and deleted by the Punisher.
Yeah, I think Tyrael wanted to Q back in, but his Q got interrupted by Sonya, by ETC. Oh, we see Rhaegar.
The Punisher does jump onto the Rhaegar, and he gets melted very quickly. He is down to about half health. A Sphere Smash hits two people. A Cleanse actually gets falsed out of that really quickly.
And Arthas is going in.
The shields are down. There was a gust to get Arthas out. They are clicking core. It's down to 50%. Oh, the silence on the... Yeah. 10%.
That's game.
Fantastic play by 2v2. You know, I think Rip definitely had a chance right there at that 13 talent tier when they were going for that middle shrine. But they saw that Malfurion and dove him so hard. They got the kill, but at the cost of nearly 3 of their people. And yeah, it was just a rough fight.
Yeah, and I think one thing we pointed out when the draft was happening, and one thing that we saw happen here is that they didn't have a way to interrupt Sonya. And when you take Arthas as your other tank, you've given up. You know, Mirrodin would have been probably a better tank with Skullcracker, something to interrupt Sonya, because Sonya would just sit there and whirlwind on your whole team and slowly was draining all their life pools. So without a way to kill Sonya and her, I mean, I'd love if we could see her amount of healing, because she probably did a boatload of healing for just her whirlwind, and not being able to do that and deal with her and kill her quickly when you got those engages was a big problem they encountered.
Yeah, not having the lack of a stun on Sonya was definitely a problem, but that also means they had a lack of a stun on the Mosh. So,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's just two huge things there, these giant threats that they had no way to deal with except Sulfurous Smash, but Sulfurous Smash was being used to try to pick off heroes that were getting low.
Yeah, and you have Gul'dan's Sphere, who was also being used really early on to try to isolate people, and they're using their 2 interrupts super early. Then you only have Sanctification to rely on to keep you out of these things. It's going to turn into a bad day for you, and it kind of did. I think they have the heroes. I think Arthas might have been a little misstep, just taking that. And if you do take Arthas, I think you need, on this map, you take Syndragosa, just to have the extra ability to kind of isolate and slow the rest of the team down so you can pick off one of them. But just a really good job by 2+2, knowing exactly what kind of comp they want and drafting that comp around what the other team doesn't have. So really good job by 2+2.
I definitely think that Nazeebo was a really good last pick for 2+2. You know, into the Rhaegar, he doesn't have a ton of healing besides on that main target. And Nazeebo's spiders and frogs, the poison damage is just going to be a lot for Rhaegar to handle.
Yeah, I completely agree. And Nazebo, he did very well. Sonya, same thing. Like you do what Sonya does, you just go and you whirlwind, spin to win. That's what Sonya does. And Flyest Raven did that. He just whirlwind, got their whole team low enough so Falstead could get those kills. And that was in Falstead going Q build. In my mind, I would have when you go Q build, I wouldn't think of this team comp as something you would go Q build against when you could go such a great auto attack build, but it worked because Sonya was able to get everybody so low. His Q was finishing people off.
Yep. And Falstead did a great job of using his flight, his global capability. He was always up soaking lanes. They picked out that bottom tower, and he immediately went top. All 5 of them rotated bot. They didn't lose a single minion top lane in that first soak. They were on top of getting their experience. Saw it. They had that level 10 lead. They got this isn't as snowbally of a map, but they got the momentum in the beginning of the game, and they did not let go of it.
Yeah, and kudos though. I want to give a shout out. Kudos to Zabu Mafu. He did really good against Falstad top. I didn't think Arthas would be able to lane against Falstad, and he actually was doing really good in lane against Falstad. So kudos to him for proving me that Arthas can work against solo laner. I do think one of your tanks had to have a stun, and that might have been part of the issue that was going on. But I think it was a good job by him to solo lane against Falstad.
I definitely think that. I definitely think that both teams played really well. I don't think that there was any giant misplays in any team. I think that it was just a draft that was a little bit more powerful for 2+2.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I think they just played to their strengths and what they did and how well they worked things. If you had to pick an MVP of this game, who would it be?
That's a difficult one, honestly. I think that it would be the Sonya just because she did such a good job of being on that back line and just having a consistent damage source in there, and it was just too much.
Yeah, that's the Flyest Raven, who was the Alarak in the first game, did really well. I really liked and I mean this ETC had some crazy good positioning and slide throughs. So I really liked what ETC did, but I'm gonna give it to the person that we normally don't, and that's the Malfurion. He had some really good roots down, some silences that just took really big advantage of things. He kept people alive when you would expect him to. Malfurion does have a hard time keeping people alive in these kind of scenarios, and he did a really good job. And so I think Malf in the second game did good enough for me to give that MVP to.
Oh yeah, I would agree. Malf was definitely one of the better players. I mean, 2 deaths on their team versus a Ragnaros and a Gul'dan. Like, that is so much damage on more than one hero.
Yeah.
A very good job on Malf's part.
Yeah, and so good job to both teams. 2+2 takes the win 2 out of 3 here. 2 games. So really good job by them, and Rip the Dream. Good. They had some good games. I think they just some of their comp might have been their downfall in that second game.
And I think Bert, did we miss anything?
No, I think you guys pretty much covered it all. Great games by both teams.
Great games, yeah. And if you like what you guys saw and you want us to cast you in the future, go ahead and give us a follow and go ahead and apply for us to cast you. We love casting these games, and it's always fun to watch. And if you have any constructive criticism, we like that too. So anything you can help us with, let us know.
Yeah.
And just
criticism always welcome. We really enjoy doing this. We're new to it, but we want to get better. So please feel free to let us know if there's anything we could improve on, or any major fights we missed, or anything.
And just so everyone is aware, all the VODs from tonight will be posted to Twitch and YouTube as well. On YouTube, just search for Heroes of the Frat and you will find them. But that is all that we have for you tonight. You can tune in again tomorrow. We have another Chair League game at 10 p.m. Eastern.